When this family spotted something pink frozen in a blizzard, they knew they had to act. As the Smith family drove through an intense blizzard, they could barely see the road ahead, but somehow they noticed a strange lump in the snow by the side of the road. And luckily, the pink pile caught the family's attention. They just had to find out what it was. The story began in January 2016. The Smith family from Chevy Chase, Maryland, were planning to enjoy a ski vacation in Pennsylvania. So the family, made up of Dad Perry, Mom Liz, and their children Catherine and Perry, jumped into their car to head off for the weekend. However, the weather was not on their side. In fact, this was the historic Snowzilla blizzard, battering large swaths of the US during the first month of 2016. And sadly, the weather was so bad that the ski resort the family were headed to had to close. So, forced to abandon their plans, the family headed back for Maryland, where they would batten down the hatches in a hotel until the storm passed. But as they were heading to safety, son Perry noticed something unusual. Somehow through the driving blizzard, the teenager spotted a little pink lump in the snow. Intrigued, the family went to investigate. Yes, after pulling up at the side of the road, Dad Perry went to see what the lump was. And as he got closer to the strange mound, he realized that it was alive. At first, the father of two thought it was a raccoon, but upon further inspection, he noticed that it was something much more unusual. There, under almost 30 inches of snow, was a tiny piglet, but it seemed like the family were too late to save it. After all, the frozen little creature was barely moving and seemed to be completely encased in ice. So, just to be sure, Perry attempted to pick the piglet up, and it was then that the baby unleashed an almighty squeal, springing to life. But knowing that it was unlikely the animal would survive in such extreme outdoor conditions, the family wrapped it up in a sweatshirt and took it back to their car. The Smiths later noticed a numbered tattoo on the piglet's ear. It's thought then that the pig must have fallen or jumped from a transportation van working for an industrial farming facility. So ironically, the fall probably saved the piglet's life, as the truck was likely heading to a slaughterhouse. But Perry was now concerned that the frozen daredevil pig would succumb to hypothermia in a matter of hours. After all, the little animal was reportedly so cold that its body was covered in ice. The Smiths knew they had to help, and fast. At first, the family tried contacting a number of animal rescue organizations, but the blizzard had paralyzed all of them. So the Smiths decided to sneak the pig back into their hotel. Then they'd have to care for it there until they could find a more permanent solution. Next, they placed the piglet in the bathtub, where the Smith children gave it alternate cuddles in a bid to keep it warm. The family also kept the animal's energy high by giving it cereal and bananas. It was then that the children named the pig Wee Wee, in honor of the kid's uncle's childhood invisible buddy. And then the storm settled down. The Smith family returned home, taking Wee Wee with them. They even toyed with the idea of keeping the pig as a pet, but they knew it would never work out. After all, the neighborhood where they lived had strict rules against holding livestock in residential districts. So with a heavy heart, the family arranged to have Poplar Spring Animal Sanctuary adopt the piglet. Based in Poolesville, Maryland, the nonprofit organization provides sanctuary for abused and neglected farm creatures. But even though it was the perfect place for Wee Wee, it turns out was a boy, the family found saying goodbye hard. To be frank, it's going to be heartbreaking to give him up, and I'm sure there will be many tears, the family confessed at the time. It's for the best though, and Wee Wee will always be part of our family. He's changed our lives in the best way possible. It's nice knowing we can visit Wee Wee at any time at Poplar Spring Animal Sanctuary. Terry Cummings and her husband Dave Horiff established Poplar Spring Animal Sanctuary in 1997. At the time, the couple had been living in Poolesville for a decade, and they witnessed the brutality animals faced at the hands of farmers. Therefore, they both became vegans and vowed to help animals in need. He's fantastic, Cummings gushed to people upon Wee Wee's arrival at the facility. He's going to have a wonderful life. He'll live on land where he can rest and play with other animals. There's a creek on the property and he can enjoy that and roll in the mud. And it didn't take long for Wee Wee to settle in. He spent his first days at the sanctuary enjoying cuddles, wolfing down birthday cake, and making friends with the other animals on the 400-acre site. So the little pig who was destined for slaughter was now living like a king. Poplar Springs staff began posting about the lucky pig on the sanctuary's Facebook page too. In fact, Wee Wee proved so popular that the staff gave him his very own page. The profile, which boasts over 6,000 followers, documents the animal's daily exploits, from rolling in the mud to hanging out with his best buddy, Scooter. And although he's taken to his new life at the sanctuary like a pig to mud, Wee Wee still has a soft spot for the Smiths. Yes, the family makes regular trips to see their old friend and couldn't be happier with the progress that he's made. The Smiths hold a special place in a lot of people's hearts because of their selfless act of stopping along a snow-covered road to rescue a tiny piglet, a Poplar spokesperson said. Looking at the happy pig Wee Wee's become, you'd never know the challenges he had to overcome before finally finding happiness. After all, the inspirational animal somehow managed to escape death twice before ending up in paradise at Poplar Springs. Now that's one lucky pig.